Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It just came to my attention that on CNN, the CNN's website, that the site was hacked just last week.
Okay.
And I will be happy to make this available to you. I don't think this
CNN website?
See, the CNN ran a story that the healthcare.gov website was hacked last week. And again, I will get this to you and would appreciate your response to that. Mr. Terry had asked a question about, he wanted to get the information about the number of people who'd signed up. You said you wouldn't provide that because it wasn't accurate. Would you provide us with the number of people who have been able to enroll on the telephone? The President gave an 800 number during his speech. Could we get a number of people who've enrolled on the telephone?
No, sir. We do not have reliable enrollment data. We will have that to you by the middle of November, as we committed to. We are collecting state data. We are collecting telephone data. We are collecting paper data. We are collecting website data. We want it to be reliable and accountable, and that's
reclaiming my time. Telephone data doesn't seem like it'd be that difficult to compile, since the number is likely quite low.
The telephone goes through the system.
You have, or the President designated I call him a glitch czar, Jeffrey Zients. You're familiar with his appointment to oversee.
I asked him to serve in this capacity, yes.
Okay, many of us on the Subcommittee of Oversight and Investigations in Energy and Commerce were not as comforted as you by that selection, because if you'll recall, Mr. Zients' history with this subcommittee is not great. He was involved with Solyndra. We asked him to come and talk to us about Solyndra in 2011. He refused, requiring a subpoena to be issued by this subcommittee. Will you commit Mr. Zients available to our subcommittee for our questions?
Congressman, you are welcome to ask Mr. Zients to come before the committee. He is volunteering his services to us for a period of time. He has been appointed by the President to start in January as the head of the National Economic Council. He was the Deputy Director at OMB for Management and Performance. I am thrilled that he is willing to take on this assignment and help us drive the management. But
again, his appearance here will be important. Now, a lot of people are asking if the President's words leading up to this law, if they matter. And the statement in the Washington Post today edited the President's statement and say, if you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan if we deem it adequate. That seems like a more operational statement, and especially if you go back just a few years into the Federal Register, and I'm quoting here from the Federal Register from July 23rd of 2010, just a few months after the law was signed, the interim rule for the dealing with the grandfathering written into the federal record, because newly purchased individual policies are not grandfathered. The Department expects that a large population of individual policies will not be grandfathered, covering up to and perhaps exceeding 10 million people. I hope the President was apprised of that before he made these statements, because clearly his statement wasn't operational.
Again, that's an insurance company choice, and that was a snapshot of what the market looks like. The President made it clear, and our policy was to put a grandfather clause in both employer-based coverage and in
but in the Federal Register, those were the comments that were recorded. Now, I do have to...
No, this isn't a government takeover of anything. These are private insurance plans.
I do have to ask you this.
Private decisions.
I do have to ask you this. You serve at the pleasure of the President. We're all aware of that. But we have had many of your employees here in front of this committee, and you do have to ask yourself, are they just being purposely misleading, or are they really not that smart? So I'm going to ask you this morning, for the sake of the future of health care in this country, will you please ask for the resignation of Gary Cohen, because he has repeatedly come to this committee and misled us?
I will not, sir.